If chosenness indicates the meaning of chosen people is God's quest for intimacy, an intimate relationship it also has a universal implication as well. Chosenness, the meaning of chosenness, that we are a chosen people, doesn't mean, we're going to be rewarded endlessly in the next world, or we are the only true human beings. You have that picture as well. Why were we chosen? Why didn't he choose anybody else? Well, we're better than anybody else. That was the response. He went around the world, have this midrash. He asked, do you want to accept my Torah? And they say, what is written in it? And one said, you shouldn't steal or you shouldn't commit adultery. He says, that's our fun in life to have sex freely. I can't live by such a law. That's how the midrash plays it out. So we're the only ones who said, God, we'll follow it even before we know whatever's in it. So in order to show the unique superiority of the Jewish people. And that trend is seen throughout Jewish tradition. Chosenness is uniqueness. Chosenness is separateness, to separate yourself from the world, to be, for me only. Just care for me. And therefore the great crime in the Bible is idolatry. That is the real sin. Why do they go wild with idolatry? It's infidelity. That's the metaphor of the prophets. How would a lover feel in his passionate love for his woman has for the man, and she discovers that he's been screwing around? There's an uncontrollable rage, understandably. Because how did I channel my passion towards you, and it was not responded to with an equal commitment? It's rolling around. So in some very deep way, Jews interpreted chosenness as excluding them from the world, as separating themselves from the world. That they are unique. They have a special relationship with God that no one else has. He chose us and not them. You'll always find them. Us and not them. We are the lovers of God. We are the one endowed with this quest that God has for intimate relationship. So therefore there's no way the Jew could be identified with the larger world. And that was a very deep tendency. The tendency of ghettoization was freely chosen. Insulate yourself from the world. Insulate yourself from seductions, where you're allowed to forget the commitment of your own intimacy. You're allowed to play the field. So you look at other cultures, Greece, Rome, and all that. Separate yourself. Build barriers. Do not have social intercourse with them. Don't drink wine together. Don't eat together. Don't share lives together. Don't get involved with them. Stay away to be protected from infidelity. And that's how the Jewish tradition gave expression to one motif: the fear of idolatry and the understanding of intimacy, and therefore the excluding of myself from the larger world. And therefore kashrut and all these things became important because they said we couldn't be together. We can't eat together. Kashrut puts a barrier of ease between yourself and the world. And that was its purpose. My perception, which I'm now working on, is that chosenness and intimacy is not separation from the world, but rather to be an example of what human beings could achieve. Chosenness is God saying, I want you to be a living example of what human beings could aspire to. And I shall be sanctified in the midst of the children of Israel, says the Bible. Doesn't mean how much kashrus you're observing, or if you're a Shomer Shabbos. It means that you act in such a way that people strive for more. They strive for more justice. They strive for more purity of soul. They strive for more honesty and integrity. So the Jew is an example of what human beings could become. That's what they were meant to be. I'm not saying that's what they are. There's something about being a member of the Jewish people, in my experience, which demands of me to bear witness to what God feels human beings could become. We know that human beings could commit a great deal of evil. The Eichmanns of history will repeat itself. But to know that human beings can also do gentle things and noble things. So who is man? What is man? Both are there. And the meaning of chosenness is not to forget that there's another picture. It's not only the dreck of the world. It's not only the tendency towards arrogance, but there's also something else. The God who is the creator of all life breaks down all barriers between human beings. It is the most organizing category, forcing you to build relationships with the other and to see the other as a full human being. So in other words, God deeply is not a triumphant, egocentric, triumphalist God, but a God who in some way doesn't allow you to sink into a narcissistic, egocentric world, but pushes you, God, break out of the self in the very act of faith. Idolatry is deeply egocentric narcissism, in which the person doesn't see the other. And that's the very meaning of the commandment, and you shall love your neighbor as one who is like yourself. It means to see the other as a self, to see him as a person with feelings, the same feelings that you have. To get to know the other as you get to know yourself. The other is there. And the meaning of love of God is to break out of enclosed shell of the ego.